So we have a very important announcement that we need to get to for this year, and it has to do with Social Security. A lot of people have been asking, is Social Security going to see any changes? Are we going to see Social Security benefits go up? Are they going to come down? What's going to happen? Well, I can tell you two things. We are going to see changes to Social Security. That is a fact. The second thing is the changes will not occur in 2023. If something happens and we see a big Social Security reform bill, guess what? This will not take place this year. It will take place in 2024. So I just want to get that out of the way because I know there's a lot of people asking, wondering, and worried, are we going to see changes? Now, here is the next thing, and this is a very important announcement. I want to bring this up because this is something that many people ask, usually towards the end of the year, and it has to do with the cost of living adjustment. So let's go and read this article. This is from Yahoo Finance. Look right here. It says bad news. The next Social Security cost of living adjustment could be just 3%. 3%. That's quite a bit lower than what it currently is at that 8.7% cost of living adjustment for 2023. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, as inflation has reached highs over the past year, retirees are spending more, and as a result, their Social Security benefits are increasing. The cost of living adjustment, COLA, is 8.7% in 2023, according to the Social Security Administration. And as a result, the increase is the biggest benefit hike since 1981. But that should change next year. Now, I get this asked to me all the time, is why are we still using the old CPI numbers? And when I say the old ones, I'm talking about the CPI numbers that we're going off of is the CPI for urban wage workers. But anyway, that one is different. It uses a different set of numbers, different categories to figure out the number. It doesn't actually work well for the elderly. That's a huge problem, and there's actually proposals to change that. However, it's not looking like it's going to happen this year. The next thing is, why do we always see inflation run up January, February, March, April, and then as we get closer to the third quarter, because again, it's only the third quarter that matters when it comes to the cost of living adjustment, because the cost of living adjustment is calculated only off that third quarter, okay, only off 3 months. Guess what? Every single year, it goes up, 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 as we get closer to that third quarter, and then it comes down, 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 down. And people always ask, is this just the government not wanting to give us a large cost of living adjustment? That could be, but there's other factors as well. And so that's part of the problem. That's why some are saying and predicting we could see a cost of living adjustment at 3%. Let's keep reading this article. It says next year's cost of living will likely decrease in 2024. Those receiving Social Security benefits this year will likely have to temper their expectations going forward, and that's because next year's COLA will likely be lower. The cost of living adjustment, that is 8.7% in 2023, likely will decrease in 2024. Next year's cost of living increase could be below 3%. This is according to the Senior Citizens League that they send email to CBS Money Watch. It says for March, the unadjusted annual rate of inflation was 5%, and that likely is indicating that administration officials expect to see a significant drop in the inflation rate through the rest of 2023. But if inflation doesn't fall and the increase stays at 3% or lower, seniors and other benefit recipients could be caught short again. I hate to say this, and this is the reason why I told you this is a very important announcement. We have to prepare. Right now that you're getting an 8.7% cost of living adjustment, okay? And again, just bear with me on this one. Let me explain. You need to try to save as much as possible. And I know it's hard, but you need to try to save as much as possible. And here's what experts say. That as we see inflation come down, and this is going to happen most likely in I'd say this month, we're going to see it come down under 5%. I'd say in June, that's when we're going to start to see a big inflection point, hopefully June, July. If that happens, again, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, as inflation comes down and maybe starts to moderate or tick back up, what you need to do is try to save as much money as possible. Pull money out. Don't spend a lot of money, okay? Don't spend a lot on food. Continue to eat, but don't spend a lot on food if you can help it. Try to buy stuff that's on sale. Okay? Buy store brands. Go to the dollar store. Buy stuff at Walmart. And again, I know a lot of people hate Walmart. Absolutely hate it. Despise it. But if that can save you money, that might be the best option. Because again, money is going to be very tight here pretty soon. Well, let's go and continue to read this a little bit. It says inflation concerns. Then it says in this situation with inflation, the main issue is that the cost of living adjustment is that it's based on what happened with the inflation rate for just part of the year before. And in the meantime, people depending on Social Security benefits live with the reality of inflation happening right now. That's the problem. When it comes time to do that inflation math, the Social Security benefit is adjusted in the third quarter of the year, and that's before officials have even seen the results for the last 3 months of the year. You see the problem there? Okay. It says on top of that, the adjustment is made based on different figures than the ones used in the official inflation rate, which is the change between the third quarters of the similar consumer price index, CPI, for urban wage earners and clerical workers. It's the CPIW. Sometimes, though, the difference works out in favor of Social Security recipients. Well, in most cases, it does a little bit, but chances are it's not going to. Anyway, it says how seniors are impacted by COLA. Among Social Security recipients, seniors can be hurt twice when cost of living allowances are too small, while the headline-grabbing inflation rate is calculated one way and the Social Security adjustment uses another set of figures. Seniors have their own separate inflation statistics, and this is actually called the CPIE. Okay, that's the Consumer Price Index for Americans 62 years of age, which is CPIE. That's the problem. That's what I was just trying to say. But here's the thing. We are going to see Social Security change. We know as of right now, and again, this is the hard part, is these negotiations over the debt ceiling. And again, this doesn't really have a lot to do with Social Security, but at the same time it does. Because what's happening is, in order for Republicans to get on board with passing the government funding bill, this is for fiscal year 2024, which has to be passed by the end of September, in order for them to agree on that, what they are wanting right now, and this is from Republicans, that they want to see the debt ceiling, inside the debt ceiling bill, they will agree to raise the debt ceiling by $1.5 trillion if they can see $4.5 trillion in savings over the next 10 years. And they give some ideas of how they're going to save some money, pull some money from the IRS, completely block the student loan forgiveness plan that President Biden put in place, and there's some other changes as well. But, and this is something that I just want to show you really quick, right here, let me show you this. It says right here, the Social Security Administration is a key agency that would be negatively impacted by such a dramatic reduced funding level. And what they're talking about right here is, well, simply put, Republicans in the recent bill, the Limit, Save, and Grow Act, what they are proposing is that what happens is instead of for the fiscal year 2024, there'll be a new budget. It normally goes up. Guess what? That's not going to happen, because what Republicans want is for Democrats to agree on that bill, pass it in the Senate, send it over to President Biden, have him sign it, and then instead of going to the 2024 budget, which means increased spending, they will actually revert back to 2022's federal budget, which means less spending. Well, this is what this person's talking about. And it says right here, such a funding cut would result in longer wait times for benefits, and again, this all has to do with Social Security, and assistance, and could reduce access for in-person services. That's what we will see. You know why? Because the Social Security Administration, instead of getting more funding, they're actually going to see a 23% reduction in funding. That's going to be huge. But again, all the stuff is now starting to come out. We're starting to see it. And as we start to see more, again, I promise I will bring you all the latest news and updates. So just want to leave you there with that. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.